Hey everyone, thanks again for tuning into Sin's Workshop. Alright, let's get into it. So today we're going to be talking about Renegade. You might know Renegade from a different title. Heir of Lies by Mallory McCartney. It's the first novel in the Black Dawn series. So, Renegade, when I received it from the publisher, I will admit, I received this from the publisher in 2019. I read it in 2020, but due to other books kind of taking a priority since I was already late with that one, and that's why I'm just now recording it now. When I first read it, it was titled Renegade, Black Dawn Zero, but it looks like it has since been renamed by the publisher and the author. Why? I don't know. Maybe they decided Renegade just wasn't a good fit for the book. And I would have to agree. I feel like who was the Renegade in this story? I didn't know. So it's a cool cover design, which is why I requested it. I did like the synopsis. It was a promising synopsis. However, this book fell flat for me. It was just bad. I hate to be blunt about it, but it really was not my cup of tea. And here's why. I liked the opening. I thought the opening was very, very well written. I loved the prologue. I loved the setting. I loved how the character dynamics were really fleshed out in this prologue. However, the author is unable to replicate that with the rest of her novel and the rest of her characters. I hated these characters. Hate's the wrong word. I felt nothing for these characters. I wasn't able to connect to them, to Adair and Brock and Memphis. Emery, however, I did like Emery. However, she's supposed to be the main character. We get that from the end of the book. I wasn't a fan of it. I felt like the author should have devoted more time to building up Emery as this main protagonist. We have the narrative following Memphis. We have the narrative following Brock and Adair. However, how are we supposed to understand Emery as the hero and the protagonist if we don't at least hand over some of the narrative to her? We really don't get to know Emery at all. She's a princess. She has magic. She has power. She's very clear-headed, but she's in the background. And that is what bothered me. Sorry, my cats are running around chasing each other because they're still kittens. And they're still cute. But that is what bothered me. That Emery didn't get enough screen time, basically, in the story. Honestly, I wish she had, because she was the only character that I liked even the littlest bit, because Adair and Brock and Memphis are all very abrasive, but in different ways. Now with Adair, he's struggling, he has a lot of internal conflict, which was good. I liked the internal conflict. I loved those scenes where he was battling the darkness that was pretty much telling him to just destroy everyone. I liked his internal conflict. However, pardon me, his dynamics with the other characters was not well done. Not in the least. The only character that any of the characters matched well with was Emery. I felt like she was the girl who kept the peace between these guys. And I found that to be really just unflattering as far as the storytelling goes. Because again, we don't really get to see a lot of her other than her saying, "Calm down, guys, calm down. Let's all get along here." And that's what bothered me. Because it's like clearly you're trying to build a really strong female protagonist like you had in that opening chapter, but you're failing terribly at it. I felt like she was just way too docile and just in the background too much, and it really did not connect with me. As for Brock, the same with Brock. He doesn't get along with any of the other male characters, Memphis being the exclusion, if you can call his relationship with Memphis them being friends. He has a huge chip on his shoulder and we don't know why, and that connects to the storytelling. There's not enough world building for us to understand him as a character and why he's so untrustworthy of everyone. He's untrustworthy of the king, of the queen, and I don't understand it. I was struggling to be like, why are you so like this? I get it. He's hasn't really had an easy life. But ever since he's been at this academy, his life has been better, but not perfect. Sure, some of the teaching methods from some of the teachers are borderline abusive. Actually, just one teacher of the entire school is abusive. And I know abuse is no laughing matter, but he has other people who believe in him and defend him. He's got the king who has taken a really gentle interest in him, who believes in him. You saw warmth there when you were reading between them. But other than that, I don't really see why he's so trustworthy. He's like, well, why are they making us learn how to defend ourselves? It's not like we have to defend ourselves. There's something going on. Really, there wasn't anything going on. It was just the king and queen knowing their strive for peace ruffled a lot of feathers. So they're doing this, and they have a school as a just-in-case scenario. And guess what? Their just-in-case scenario came true because the truce is broken. The people of their enemy for a long time has been like, nah, king is dead, so the truce is broken. We're going to wage war on you guys now. So they were right to be paranoid and establish a school to teach people to harness their abilities for protection. So I didn't understand Brock is what I'm getting at. I just didn't understand him at all. I didn't understand this huge chip on his shoulder. And as for Memphis, he's a very quiet character. He hardly has any scenes to himself. He's incredibly powerful, we do discover, but he's very quiet. And I get it. When his magic showed, his parents kind of kicked him out and said, get out of here. So Memphis himself has had a very hard life. He keeps to himself. He keeps to the shadows. He's like that silent ninja, except he doesn't really offer anything to the story. He's just like, oh yeah, guess what, guys? I overheard this. Like, really? You overheard that, Memphis? Well, bravo for you. We already knew this. We've already kind of figured it out. So, other than him being incredibly powerful, he really doesn't add anything, and you really don't get to see that showcase of power until the end. There is certainly a flashback scene, but again, you don't get to see him really until the end. Now, like I said, the story just lacks world building. I wasn't able to lose myself in the world. The politics themselves were easy to understand. You kind of understood them from the prologue. But other than that, I was just left bored, to say the least. I was not thrilled with this book. It was a struggle to finish. And when I got to the end, I was like, what? This is how you know the story is shifting to Emery. Emery gets that last chapter the Memphis sends her to another world, our world, perchance, as it is. That didn't make any sense, but go with it. They sent her to our world, as a matter of fact. Here we go. And years pass. She's an adult now. She has a life. She pretty much thinks all her life was just kind of a dream. Didn't really happen. So when Memphis and Brock come back and get her, she's like, whoa, what is this? So that's a no. The story is shifting to her to be the main character, the main protagonist, the hero of the series. And I just wish the author had devoted more time to developing her character throughout the story instead of just being this background girl who's just like, come on guys, let's chill out. I wanted more from that, especially if you're going to turn this girl into a hero. I wanted more. I needed more to understand her. And, that's that. So, unfortunately, I'm going to give Renegade / Heir of Lies 2 stars. It just didn't do it for me. Now, my opinion is my own, and I like to think of literature as art, because it is art. So it's open to interpretation. Just because I didn't like something doesn't mean you won't. So I do recommend checking out the book from your local library. If you can't get through it, I would say give it 5 chapters. If after 5 chapters you want to continue. And by the end of the book, if you like it, please purchase the book to support the author. If by 5 chapters you're just like, bleh, just put it in your did not finish pile. Life is too short to be reading things you do not enjoy. I have learned that. I have learned that in my 29 years. Up until I was 27, I would spend my time reading books I had no interest in. I've stopped that. Life is too short, to be doing things we don't enjoy. So please, if you don't like it, put it down. If you do like it, support the author and purchase the book off of bookshop.org, where I will include a link in the description below. On that note, I hope you all have a great rest of your day. Please do not forget to support me by liking this video and subscribing to my channel and sharing it with all your book loving friends. And as always, happy reading.